Tonight, I'm sure like many of you, I have a potpourri of emotions. I have inside tremendous anger. Anger at what has happened in Israel, anger at the fact that we were once again found to be victims of senseless violence, senseless hatred. Angry at the divided Israeli government that allowed 80% of the IDF soldiers to be on the West Bank and allowed families to sit in their neighborhoods, in their security rooms for hours and hours, some of whom never got out alive, waiting and begging for help. I'm equally angered at the 36 Harvard student groups who signed on a joint letter saying, quote, "We, the undersigned student organizations, hold the Israeli regime entirely responsible for all unfolding violence." I am saddened. I'm saddened tonight because more Jews were killed on that day than any day since the Holocaust. I am saddened that people who attended a music festival to celebrate Simchas Torah could not do so in safety and in love. They simply were brutalized. I'm saddened to find and see the various videos that are posted online at the atrocities that they endured. I am disturbed. I am disturbed at watching Hamas kill for sport, gang rape, behead, and watch the death of children as if it were a game. I am disturbed at the sight of our bubbies and our zadies who have survived the Holocaust, who are in their 80s and 90s, being marched through Gaza, some of whom suffer dementia now, who are confused, who are pulled from their wheelchairs. I am saddened and even further disturbed as a mother when I see the sight of a 6-year-old child screaming, "Ima, Ima, Mommy, Mommy," while he is made fun of, spit on, and rocks are thrown at him by other children in Gaza City. I am scared that more and more bodies will be uncovered, that the number of individuals who were kidnapped will increase because people still are not sure where all of their loved ones are. I am scared further for the fate of those who are kidnapped, recognizing that Hamas has vowed to express violence upon them over the upcoming weekend, that social media is being asked to be removed from devices of children so that they do not have to once again bear further witness to further violence. And I am scared for the moral bankruptcy that I see in this world when I see silence or lack of a positive response. And what does that really say about all of us? And yet I still have some hope. All is not lost. When Israelis stand to donate blood, the lines are very, very long. When there is a huge response rate for Israelis engaged in miluim, in reserves, because for once, for the first time in months, Israelis are uniting instead of dividing. When they can finally and have today formed a unity government where previously there was only division. Of that, I am hopeful. I am hopeful for what might be, what opportunity this might present for all of us. Because this day shattered a myth. It shattered the myth that was held so firmly and so tightly since 1967, when Israel beat back its enemies. When Israel created a very, very strong military, or so it seemed, when it engaged in all sorts of technology to build fences and have radar and create an Iron Dome, only to realize how much they are fallible, only to see the Hamas, whom we always believed was just one more terrorist organization, that didn't matter quite so much. After all, there had been 19 different interactions since they came to power 14 or 15 years ago. Only now do we see that they have an army where 1,500 of them came into the state of Israel and engaged in terrible, brutal violence, engaged in war crimes, where they have a navy of some sort and an air force of another, where they are truly have become an extension of Iran. And I am scared, again, looking now at the fact that my cousin was called up into Miluim, and he is right now on the border of Gaza. What will happen to him? I was deeply saddened when I learned that my cousin's wife's uncle was brutally murdered in front of his wife's eyes on Kibbutz Be'eri. And I am also saddened when I realized how much this has impacted every single Israeli and so many Jewish people around the world. When many of us can sit and say we have all been touched, because the circle, the ramifications of everything that happened aren't just solitary to that one day. It wasn't just Israelis who were impacted and affected. It was also Hamas, and we're also seeing the power that Iran has in that region of the world. It was more than 2 decades ago that Thomas Friedman wrote the book, The World is Flat, highlighting even before social media how we are all interconnected with one another. And the truth is, we truly are. We are all impacted. Hamas is impacted by Iran, by Saudi Arabia, and by forces far larger and greater than we knew or expected. And so is Israel. Israel's equally impacted by the shattering of this myth, and we have woken up, all of us, to a new normal. What will that look like? I don't know. What will happen? I don't know. But how America and the American Jewish community will relate to Israel is changing. Because right now there are GoFundMe pages up because the Israeli military suffered such devastating losses, again, far greater than any of us expected. I'm reminded of a teaching that I learned from an Episcopal priest who's taught me when I was a rabbinical student that faith and doubt are two alternate sides of the same coin. That as we embrace the unknown, the I don't know, the fear that I have for the fate of my cousin, the fear that I have for what will it mean for us to engage in a military incursion into Gaza, recognizing the lessons taught by all previous military incursions. Again, filled with doubt. But the flip side of that coin is faith. Faith that we can come together, faith that we can grow, faith that we can learn, faith that we can be better, do better, and accomplish more things if we remember we are interconnected. And so it is my hope and prayer that just as much as I am full of all of these emotions, and I know many of you in this room are also equally personally affected, full of emotions, and still processing, that by the fact that we are all here together in unity, in community, we can continue to support each other, be present with one another, bear witness to one another's suffering, so that we can remember that we are all children of God.